Lil Timby. I'll tell you what's a little funny is I read these guys on the forums and they go, yeah, I moved my battery back 1/17 of an inch. I didn't know that was even a measurement. And oh, my Timby flies better. Alrighty. Yeah, I kind of just stick the battery in there and fly the plane. Yeah, I don't know how much difference it makes on this particular model. And we're going to fly.
Switch warning.
There we go. Taking off. Even when no one's out. Taking off. Yeah, with the A6 it just flies. One guy complained about it flying in the wind, and I go, yep, it's probably an 800 millimeter model, 600-800 millimeter, and it's big enough to catch the wind, but you know, it's light, so you end up in that terrible loop where, you know, you like a bigger planes because they're easier to see, and people like bigger planes, but you know, the wind pumps on it. Faux show. So as I had mentioned in previous videos, what's going to happen is I'm going to retire and become boring because you know, work didn't define me totally as a human being, but work definitely defined me a bit. So when I was talking to my work wife the other day, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm looking forward to watering the plants and taking the dog for a walk, and she's like, yeah, you literally sound like my mother. I'm like, yeah, I expected this to happen. So got a letter in the mail from the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services Bureau of Licensing for licensing my carry and concealed permit. And when I got that letter, I'm like, yeah, that's a letter of denial. Open it up, and sure enough, they need a document, and it says it in the law that says the day I retire. It can't be his last day was May 17th. Fuck no. It has to say that I retired on X date. And we tried to get the letter that the highly skilled bullshit agency personnel lady sent. And I told her it needs to say I've retired in good standing. And my first day of retirement was May 18th. Fucking sends the same letter back. So we tried to slip it by. And I tell you, I get unreasonably annoyed these days. I am getting a little crusty, I guess. Because, man, that pissed me off that I got denied. You know, I'm 30 years a law enforcement officer, and I got to get a letter from the fucking Pope indicating that I used to work for the agency and I retired on X date. So, luckily, our hot secretary still kind of liked me. And I called her up, and anything she can do, and God, what a nice big ass. Man, the second you slip a ring on her finger, that ass is going to be the size of my truck. But until then, what a glorious bottom she totes around with her. And also a very nice chest as well for her size, because she don't weigh about 100 pounds. So thumbs up on Hot Secretary is what I'm trying to say. You know, actually she's an agency 8.
2 minutes.
If you saw her in CVS, you probably wouldn't think a thing about her, but the state of Florida hires the fucking ugliest women on the planet. I mean, yeah, my God. So what ends up happening is when you're marginally good looking, you become an agency 10 as a whole, is the running joke. So that's hilarious. Cruel, but that's how us men think. So yeah, getting excited now because wife put in, and God damn it, it's time to leave. Now she's put in that she wants to go to Crystal River for 3 days over on the coast. So what I think I'm going to do is this morning I'm going to call over there and see if I can get me a spot for a 40-foot rig. Yeah, just for 3 days. So she can see her girlfriend before we leave. So that's my plan. I'm going to make that happen. So that'll force us to be on the fucking road August 3rd. Now what I could do is do it the following weekend, and I should do it most likely, honestly, because what that'll do is that'll give my wife, like, 7 days to button her shit up without work. And the more I say that out loud, that's probably what I need to do. It really is. I have 2 timers set for this. One, 5 minutes, because I'm here to tell you, plug that little FPV transmitter in, and that bitch will run out of gas at 5 minutes.
10, 9, 8, 7.
Dave, I don't think you watch every one of my videos, but if you're watching this one, I didn't.
3, 2, 1. Timer 1 elapsed.
I didn't post this on your slow stick video because me end up sounding like a dick. But watching that slow stick with a, I don't know what that is, but we'll call it an internal combustion engine, reminds me of how much I dislike internal combustion engines in this venue. It's terrible. They're just loud and obnoxious. There's really nothing cool about them. Now there is some airplanes that's just cool to have as an internal combustion engine, but God almighty, as a whole, what an obnoxious, god-awful measure to push an airplane around when you have electric. Yeah, but that's just my take. All right, I got to see a man about a horse. Landing! Little Timby on the ground, bitches.